Welcome back to Living Off the Land. I'm Penny with City Fresh Gardens. Stop in and visit us sometime. Today we're going to talk about integrated pest management. One of my favorite topics, and it's mainly because I get this question all the time about what to do about pests in the garden. And a pest can be anything from a deer to ants to weeds, pretty much anything. So I have just a few tips that I like to give you about what to do when it pertains to dealing with pests or how to manage them. The top 5 is prevention, early detection, correct identification, proper selection of control techniques, and correct application methods. So it really just depends on what it is that you're dealing with in your garden. You have to get down to the specifics, and I usually give these tips. The basic one I use in my garden for almost everything is neem oil. Again, as I said before, it's safe. You can mix it with a drop of dishwashing liquid and some water and just spray your plants. But if you have a larger garden, then it's a little bit more complicated. So early detection is important when you have a whole lot of things growing at one time. So, well, there's different types of pests. A pest could be anything from a deer or ants, or it could be white flies or aphids. It could be your plant looking a little yellow under the leaves. All those things are considered pests when you think about gardening. And you can have pests on your flowers. You can have pests on your vegetable plants. So in order to combat those things, integrated pest management is something that we like to talk about as a preventative measure. And it's really about creating a habitat that's conducive to your plant growing in a position to prevent things from attacking it. So if you say, for instance, planting some okra plants, you can put some rosemary plants around it because deers don't like rosemary. Or you can plant marigolds next to your vegetable garden because they deter pests. Some other organic methods would be creating or making like a peppermint spray for your plants. Spraying the leaves of your plants with something that's natural can help when dealing with pests. Here are a few different other options that we use or that I use in my garden that are considered natural and organic. The liquid copper fungicide I use on things like mostly ornamental plants, rose bushes and things of that sort. But you can also use the neem oil, which is really good for vegetable plants and it's safe. I would always like to say when you're dealing with anything that's considered an insecticide, herbicide, fungicide, so you make sure you're following and reading the directions carefully because if you use them wrong or use too much of them, they can also create issues with your plants as well. And now when it comes to rodents and animals, it's a little bit harder. You know, they have everything from an electric fence that you can install, or they have traps. I don't really prefer the trap method, so that's why integrated pest management is to create barriers to prevent them from coming into your garden as opposed to trapping them or hurting them or anything. I don't promote that at all. So they also have different little homemade things that you can use, like vinegar. You can spread vinegar or cayenne pepper around the border of your garden. Some animals don't like the smell. Some Irish Spring soap, I heard that worked once before, putting some bars of soap. So it just depends. But putting up a fence is always very, very easy to do. It'll save you a lot of time, save you a lot of money, and over the years save you a lot of crops. So some general integrated pest management strategies to help assist in your garden. The number one would be like crop rotation, so not planting the same plants in the same area every year. So that's pretty easy with vegetables, but maybe not so much with rose bushes or flowers and things of that sort. Second thing would be removing debris or any type of disease or bacteria infested or anything that's been affected plants. Removing them from the area completely and taking them off your property will help to not spread any type of pest or disease in your garden. Using registered pesticides in your area just to be safe. So if you're using in vegetable gardens, anything that's natural and organic. Planting disease-resistant varieties also helps in the garden. So if you're planting a variety of cucumbers or beans that are rust resistant, that also helps to make your time and your garden more manageable. Pruning your plants is another good way to help with disease prevention, because overgrown, too much foliage. So if you have too many leaves on your plants, pruning them back helps to keep air circulating around your plants, which can also help with preventing disease issues, bacteria issues, or prevent infestations from bugs and insects. Mulching also creates a barrier in your soil around your plants to help with disease and pest prevention. Okay, and last but not least, knowing your beneficial insects so that you can properly identify which ones are not beneficial. And again, knowing your state, knowing all the insects that are native to your area, planting native plants, disease-resistant varieties, basically will help you have a good growing season. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.